Hey everyone, welcome to Collector Chatter. I'm your host Migs here with my co-host Charlie. This is episode 76. We're going to be talking about the latest Funko news. This week we just got some news, some drops, and we're going to go back to talking about some rumors that we're super excited about.
Oh yeah, we got some straight fire this week. So if you haven't already, make sure you please like this video and also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It will really help us out. All right, with that being said, let's chat.
All right, guys, welcome back. Episode 76. We are here excited to talk about the latest Funko news. We're going to talk about some stuff that dropped, some things that are going to be coming out, and also get back into some rumors and leaks because we got some lists with some
Oh
pretty sweet
yeah.
stuff that we're going to talk about later as well. But we'll get right into it because we just want to make sure we talk about all the goodies and all the good stuff that came out within the last week or two. And yeah, Charlie, you can start us off with some stuff that you're excited for because, there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of stuff, but some pretty good stuff.
One thing that immediately got me really pumped was the Haunted Mansion line for the new movie. I feel like this movie kind of came out at a bad time where Barbie and Oppenheimer were all the craze. So it didn't get probably as much love. I wish they waited till Halloween, but that came out with some pops, which a lot of the original Hitchhiking Ghosts are pretty much grails. They had come out then with like a bigger line, but they're not included. So basically all those characters, which I mean, I guess spoilers for the movie, but you knew they were going to be in it. So you're getting all the Hitchhiking Ghosts, and then you're getting a human version of Madame Leota. So I just think, and the Hatbox Ghosts we're also getting. The detail on these just looks super awesome. It's very clear that they're the movie version, so they're different than the park ride ones. And I think for any collector, for Disney collector, Haunted Mansion collector, these would be amazing addition to the collection.
Yeah. I don't know much about it. Obviously, like I know the ride is like the big thing that it really originated from. But I don't know the characters enough to know, but they look pretty sweet. I mean, based off of like what we've seen, obviously the ghosts and everything look amazing. And then there's even a soda also that was
Yeah.
announced. I don't know if we talked about that yet or anything from last episode, but yeah, that one looks pretty cool. But it seems like it's going to be a pretty popular one. But I agree, yeah, like the movie definitely should have came out more towards Halloween, was like waited for this way, but I don't know if they knew that the craze for
No.
Barbie was going to be as big as it is, which just to kind of throw a movie thing out there, it just officially passed The Dark Knight for the highest WB
Movie
grossing
ever.
movie like of all time, which is insane. So,
I know.
but yeah, it is what it is.
But
Barbie.
I think we'll get this movie on Disney Plus probably for Halloween, which is a good,
That's good.
it's good. So everyone can watch
Yeah.
it then.
Yeah, that'll be good. And I'm sure you're excited for this because I know they did do a movie version of this, which was not good. I'm assuming, right? Wasn't
Yeah, the
something
one
people
with Eddie
really liked.
Murphy, just not. I mean, at the time, when it came out, I did not like it. I mean, but it's just not. It didn't hit. And
Yeah,
this one, even though I've even heard this one didn't get great reviews, but I feel like if you were like, I love that ride. It's like my favorite OG Disney ride, and like I do collect memorabilia from it. And it just stinks. It's just hard to go to the movies these days. I haven't seen it, but I feel like if you're a person like myself, there's a lot of Easter eggs, which makes it something that a lot of people will love. And I think this one was a little scarier, where the other one was just like a straight up comedy. But the thing
yeah,
about the ride is it's scary in its own right, but like it is supposed to be also funny. So like I've heard this is a good blend.
yeah. Well, that's good. One line that I was excited to see, which is pretty cool looking pops, is Peaky Blinders. I
Yeah,
don't know if I think we might have rumored this at one point
we
or
did a
talked about that it
while
was gonna
ago.
come out of it, right? But we got this, and it's six pops in the wave. So we got Ada Thorne, Alfie Solomons, Arthur Shelby, Michael Gray, Polly Gray, and then Thomas Shelby, of course, the main character Cillian Murphy plays. Pretty sweet. I mean, this is a pretty big show in terms of like popularity and like considered like a great show, writing, acting, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. But of course, Cillian Murphy's main character, Thomas Shelby. The only thing I did have a little bit of a like yeah, about was that I didn't think it really looked like him, and I mean, a lot of people were saying that in the comments as well that it didn't. I mean, I know the whole that style hat obviously was something he would wear, but there's plenty of times that you see him without the hat, and he has
Yeah.
a very unique haircut where they could have translated it kind of like what they did with Arthur Shelby's, like he kind of pulled off the hair, but he has a mustache, so they and it's a little lighter color, so they totally could have probably done that, but. I mean, I get it with the hat. I just don't think it like really screams Cillian Murphy, like where you're like, oh my God, that's him. Obviously, if you know the show, but it looks a little bit more basic. I don't know if I'm just being nitpicky about that, but pretty cool to see that they're doing this wave for the show.
It's funny, like until you mentioned that, like I don't think I would have said it, but yeah, there's something about it. Like his face doesn't like have any detail. I
Like
I
at
don't.
all. And
Yeah.
not that they all have a lot of detail,
No,
obviously,
exactly.
but
But it does look a little strange. Like
yeah,
when I do look at it, and he does have a recognizable haircut, like you said as well. That this would have been a nice, cool, easy chase for them to make, actually.
yeah, it's true.
One with the hat, one without it. Because I actually think these will be surprisingly popular.
Yeah,
As much as like some people may think this is a niche show. I mean, this show is huge, especially internationally. And I think a lot of people have been wanting these. I think these are going to be a pretty popular line.
yeah,
So, but another thing that came out that, um, yeah, we didn't talk about it because it kind of came out right after our last episode, but it was a new die cast, and we got Spider-Man finally, which we
yep,
had rumored that as well. The only thing I found really interesting about this one is we have known about the Indiana Jones one, and that hasn't dropped yet, but we got this Spider-Man one out of kind of nowhere. But I actually think this is one of the better. I mean, everyone knows we love the diecast line. I really like this one. And the colors, obviously, it's just Spider-Man's colors, the red and blue, but for some reason they seem to really pop on
yeah,
this. Pop, no pun
yeah.
intended. And I think this one's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's super sick. I mean, it's a very classic, it's pretty simple pose and everything. But like you said, like we are big fans of the diecast pop, so pretty much they usually do an amazing job. And it's so funny that you said that about the Indiana Jones because when it came out, I was like, I have all the diecast pops, and I went like I'm gonna get it, whatever. And I went to go online, and I started thinking in my head, I was like, do I have all of them? And I started thinking, I was like, I don't have the Indiana Jones. Did I miss that one? And I literally was wondering where it was because I thought it did come out. And it
Yeah.
was just like, it was so funny that you said that because I thought the same thing. Um, but we also got some more basic sodas with no numbers. So, we kind of rumored that was going to go away, but maybe it will be. I'm sure these are still in
Yeah.
production early on. But Blue Beetle is the next big DC movie, and they decided to make a wave of these with the character. I don't like it, and they kind of I feel like they've done this a lot with these no numbered sodas, is
Yeah.
that it's like screw anything that has to do with any spoilers because we're gonna just show you all the characters because we're getting like the villain and we're getting Blue Beetle and we're getting him as the right
Yep.
character, whatever it is. But we're getting two versions of the like villain
The villain,
character in
terrible.
two different sodas with two different chases, and it's like that just doesn't make sense. It was like almost like they ran out of characters, but they wanted this to be like a big wave of these type of sodas. So they're like, we need to come out with at least like six. So let's just duplicate it. I don't know. It looks really dumb. I'm excited to watch the movie, not the movie, like the that
I know you
specifically.
mean. I
But again, also like his look and then the chase, like I don't know, not to know anything about the movie. Like I don't know much about the movie, but like it seems like that's kind of a spoiler to like a lot more detail than we probably really needed. And that's kind of what's happened a lot with these waves is that they come out before the movie even comes out. And you're not really like, you don't really know if you're going to like these characters or want any of these like beforehand. So it's kind of like, why do these announcements the way they've been doing them? But I don't know what you think of it.
I mean, I completely agree. It's the first thing I thought about. I was like, oh, spoiler right there, especially, with the mask off showing his face. And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing I also hate is they did this with even the Spider-Verse soda, common sodas, like the chase of Blue Beetle should have just been Reyes and just like um in his human form, and then the Blue Beetle not just getting like a metallic version, or don't quote me on what the chase is, but it's
Yeah,
lower metallic. And they did the same thing with Miles Morales having his own soda,
yeah.
and it just being some random chase. Same with him being in his Spider-Man suit. That was just to get an extra SKU, which now they're cutting back on SKUs. But
It's this is a
it's,
prime example of showing you how they just overdid stuff.
yeah, especially for Blue Beetle. I mean, I'm actually super excited for this movie. I've heard it's like pretty generics, nothing you haven't seen before. It's also one of those like James Gunn is saying this is part of the new DCU. He just decided he wanted to pick this one. I actually think he picked this just for PC reasons. Like he didn't want to be the guy to cancel the first ever Latino led superhero movie. I'm happy though, because the dude who I've said this on the podcast multiple times, the guy's Blue Beetle. I absolutely love him. I've heard he's amazing, but I don't think this needed all these pops. I don't think this movie is gonna do that well. And actually, the opening weekend didn't do that great. I mean, it was the rest. It was already they killed it just like they did the Flash. You're telling people this movie doesn't really matter.
Hmm.
Moviegoers are smart enough to know that this is a lie. I'm assuming what's going to happen is Blue Beetle character will be played again by Sholo, and that's it. Like everything that happens in this movie, from what I've heard, is probably not going to even matter.
Yeah,
So Funko, and at first this was an HBO Max exclusive movie. It wasn't even theatrical, so I'm shocked they even made this big of a line.
yeah. I don't get why they did the big lines. Like this is one of those ones. Like okay, make the character, make Blue Beetle, like make him in
Yeah,
soda if you want, just him, and that's it. Like back in
agreed.
the day, they would do that. They would have like one random character, and we're kind of in that boat where we're like, "Where's the rest of this line?" And now they decided to just be like, "No, we're gonna give you everything all up front," and that's clearly we've talked about this obviously in the last
Yeah,
episode, but that's clearly what they're gonna get away from. But it's just like interesting to still see some of that stuff spilling over into now because obviously it's been produced before. So, um, but yeah,
but
that was one that was like at least we're getting more sodas, but not
yeah,
the best line.
I agree. Another something that I was super excited about, but I know this line probably isn't the most popular to everyone because they're big, is like those huge movie moments. We got the Nightmare Before Christmas scene, like when Jack is like getting super pumped about Christmas and when he enters the land, and it's got him with a bunch of elves, him as a snowman. Like I have one of these. I have actually a Home Alone one, and as much as I'm a collector of Marvel, Harry Potter, Star Wars, like I haven't gotten any of those. I want this one. I think it's cool for a Christmas decoration, and I think it looks super cool. But I'm
Yeah.
curious if this is a line. I actually wanted to bring this up in our last episode. So if you guys haven't watched that, go check it out. We talk about some lines that we think Funko is going to be done with. I don't see how they can continue to make these and the
Yeah, I'm
movie
surprised we didn't
posters.
talk. Yeah, I'm surprised we forgot those completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think price, space, like all that is gonna make these not a line that you see like this many of anymore. Like I don't know. Like I even told you I went into a GameStop. I was telling you a local GameStop, and they had tons of these oversized types of
Yeah.
pops. Like they had 10-inch, 18-inch, and they even had the movie posters, and they were just like so many, and they were just stacked in like piles, different areas throughout the store. And I was like, wow, it's kind of surprising they had this much stuff in there at this GameStop. But they're like stuff that seems to be kind of sitting and not really selling. So the price point is definitely not the easiest for someone to swallow, and especially maybe get one, like you said, but not multiples.
Yeah.
But it kind of puts us back into where we talk about lines that are like kind of like the die cast or like certain lines that you can just get one if you want and it's good enough because it's your fandom. You don't have to get them all. So I mean, I don't know, maybe that's kind of where that falls. But um, so I'm surprised you didn't talk about this line yet, but we are getting an Ahsoka line.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Um,
I was saving
for
that for last.
well, we'll get into it because I know you want to talk about like other stuff that do with that, anyways. But um, just a line in general. Obviously, we saw that we're going to get that. With Star Wars, they've kind of been doing this lately with the shows and stuff. We do get them beforehand. and we'll get like a small wave of stuff. It's not huge, but it does have like keychains and
Yep.
pops and different ones. I don't know too much of like the storyline and the characters besides obviously Ahsoka to know if any of this was any spoilers at all, or is this kind of all known, like
It's
just
none of
basic
it's
characters?
none of it is spoilers, but they did another weird thing, which I don't know if when you look at the picture, if you noticed it, because it jumped out at me immediately, was this we're not getting a full-size Sabine Wren Funko Pop in the initial wave, just a keychain,
Yeah,
which
when
is
did
what they did with
they did that?
Obi-Wan with Princess Leia,
Yes, yes.
which is like this. And what they then did, if everyone's not aware, that became a con exclusive pop. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
is that what they're gonna do for New York Comic Con? Like, it's just weird. I think all these pops are sick, but I also don't understand their choice of all the characters. Like the character of Marek is a new character that's never been in anything, at least that we know of, because they're wearing a mask. It's an
Mm-hmm.
Inquisitor, but the entire trailer is filled with these two new villains that are splattered all over it. Ray Stevenson plays one of them, who may he rest in peace. Like, why didn't they get a Funko Pop in the first line? I don't understand the logic of this. And even the droid, who like that's a sick pop if you're a fan because he's been in the animations shows before. So now
Mm-hmm.
making his live action debut, and David Tennant's actually the voice of him in the cartoon, and he will be in the show, which is super awesome. But it's like, why did he make the first round? Like, I get Chopper, Ahsoka, obviously, and Hera, but it's just I don't get it. That's
Yeah,
the moral of the story. They're sick, but it doesn't make sense. There's certain
yeah,
characters that clearly are going to be in wave two that they haven't shown yet, like Thrawn or Ezra, which is going to make all the Rebel pops go up even more, which they have
yeah,
been
yeah.
recently, but like they're becoming like mega girls.
Well, yeah. I the only thing I thought was like interesting too is that the Ahsoka one, like, it looks almost exactly like the one that just recently came out. Which was what, Amazon exclusive, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
does. It's like it's a different pose. No, I think
yeah, I mean,
her outfit's a little more beat up, I think.
okay,
I
maybe
feel like
that's
you
yeah,
need to
yeah.
take it out of it's funny. Well, no, I don't have the one
Oh
with the
yeah, like an
hood,
old, yeah.
but it's like right here. If you're watching, you see like it's a little different, but like the other one that was on exclusive is
But the other
basically
one
this
that had
pop
the
with the
hood,
hood. It
yeah, with the
does.
hood looked a lot more like this one just because of the hood,
Yeah.
obviously. And then did you notice? Because I'm pretty sure the other ones don't, but this one says Ahsoka Tano, full name. Like, don't the pop boxes usually just say Ahsoka on a lot of the ones that have been coming out?
That I'm not sure about.
Because I feel like it looks a little odd with the name because it
Well,
just
it's funny you say
I
that.
don't
One
have one
thing
right in front of me, but either. But
I'll look it up real quick, but one thing that looks super weird to me, what that they're really pointing out that it's General Hera Syndulla, and General is the huge name of the pop, and
yeah, yeah,
her
that's
name
weird.
is so small, which I think is weird because traditionally when something like that is so small, it's kind of saying like it's a version of that character.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought
So
that
it
was
is an
weird,
interesting set of what they did here.
but I
Um,
feel like this set's going to be huge, and they're going to just take turns and waves.
yeah, of course, and of course, this is all building up to the show, which releases tomorrow.
No,
Well,
tonight
is it
actually.
today?
So one thing
Is
that's
it
kind of
23rd? Is what I saw,
yeah,
or is
so
it coming early?
one thing that they're changing up, which is I'm so happy they're finally doing this, is they're gonna now release all of the new episodes at 9 p.m. So like Apple does this kind of like it actually comes out on Wednesday, but they're releasing it early, kind of how they do with movies, where it's they really come out
Oh,
on
so
Friday.
9 p.m. on Tuesday, but the release date's supposed
Correct.
to be right. And is it both episodes? Because I know it's supposed to be first and
Both
second.
episodes, and that's the way it's going to be for the entire series, which
Hmm.
I think is a smart
It's
move
kind of weird
because
because it almost just say it comes out on the
well, it's
22nd.
funny though. Like I mean, they're kind of telling you it in the marketing now. It comes out the day before, but it's what movies do. The
Yeah,
date is always the Friday, even though they always come out on Thursday.
yeah. Well, that
You-
I feel like that kind of was somewhat new, though, right? Like
Yeah,
movies, I feel like would come out on Friday, and that was it. But then I feel like they started coming out like
it's been
the
that way
night
for a few years
before.
now,
Yeah, yeah, a
though.
few years,
Yeah.
but I remember it being like a thing though more recently, where it's like where you started thinking like, oh, I can go to a movie on Thursday because it's releasing. For the longest, I would always be like, no, it's Friday, Saturday. That was when the
Yeah, it
movies would
only
come out.
used to be for like the big movies, like Marvel movies. Now every movie does it.
Yeah, now everything. Okay, yeah, that's what it is.
But
But yeah,
moral of the
so cool.
story is like traditionally, you'd either have to, if you lived on the East Coast and you had to watch it first, you had to wait till 3 a.m.,
Yeah,
which, like, as a huge Star Wars fan, as myself, like, I can't even do that. Now it's pretty cool. Okay, I can watch it Tuesday night. I think it'll help
yeah,
with social engagement and everything. And like, if you're down on Star Wars, don't be, because this show's going to be, like, I think this is going to be like peak Star Wars. If this show doesn't do well, the Star Wars, Disney has killed the Star Wars brand, in my opinion.
yeah,
Like, if you don't like this show, Star Wars just, the new Star Wars just isn't for you.
yeah. Now I'm excited for it, and especially just off the trailers and seeing just the action,
It
the way it's
looks
shot.
awesome.
So everything looks pretty awesome. But what else we got?
Another sick thing, um, is, speaking of continuing with Star Wars, we got the 3 30-second Ahsoka clone trooper, which is, it's funny. Like, I've been wanting this Funko Pop to come out forever. It's from the Clone Wars. It's, troops that she has, and they kind of paint their clone to kind of mimic like what she looks like. But it's just interesting this pop's coming out now. I'm pretty sure it looks like, from the box art, it's from like the Clone Wars line, but I don't know if they're kind of aligning it with the Ahsoka show coming out. It's completely random. It's a one-off, but it's a BAM exclusive, which is annoying.
Yeah,
Like, we don't. I mean, do you have any Books a Millions by you? And like, I
no,
don't love ordering
not at
from
all.
them, so I'm just banking this will. I mean, I know it will come on Funko.com, because
Hmm.
I do want to add this one for my collection, but that's where I'll be getting it from.
Yeah. Um, we also have Friday Target. The fall geek out is gonna start. I know we get
Yep.
that all the time and every year, so we'll start getting like random stuff coming out through Target, whether it's like Funko Pops and other things. So that's kind of something that's gonna start up um soon. So this weekend, look out for that kind of stuff.
It's funny. We also got even more Star Wars. We're getting a lot of Star Wars, actually. We got a Lights and Sounds R2D2,
Hmm.
which, like, I feel like this would have been one of, like, logically the first ones they've ever made. Not like The Flash or Batman. Like,
Yeah,
he legitimately, like, he makes noises. So,
yeah,
I mean, there's nothing special about this mold, though. It's identical to every other R2D2 pop they've ever made.
yeah.
But still cool if you want to add it to your collection. It's funny. It's something I want to add to my collection eventually, but like, I'm at a point now where, like, and I'm sure this will bite me in the ass one day, but it's like, I can just wait to get this when I need to add it to a cart to get free shipping. Like, nothing really sells that anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, true. Um, more news with Star Wars as well. So this is another one. So there's a lot of stuff, obviously, like you said. This was kind of more on a dramatic side of things because this is an
I know exactly
interesting
what you're
little,
saying.
yeah, an interesting little thing that happened. So we got a restock. I feel like remember we had a whole episode about restocks back in the
Yeah.
day. We don't see those much now, but we got another restock, and this was for the General Grievous pop, which of course was one of those pops. This thing has gone so up and down. Way back in the day, it was a Walgreens exclusive, the original one. It was a grail for a while,
Yeah.
very sought after, very expensive to get it on the aftermarket, and it was gone, sold out. Then there came across the options to get the international one, which is actually the one I have, which I hate it because I hate that sticker. Um, but the international ones came out. Values are still up. You know, the original Walgreens one was always the one that was a little bit better. And then I feel like they kind of restocked it again at one point. Like this thing, I feel like has restocked a bunch of times.
A few
Um,
times.
but most recently we got it again, and it was through Funko Shop, and you're getting like out of nowhere. I remember showing you a picture where I was like, why is this? And it was weird because it was that pop. We had the OG animated series Batman was also coming up there. So it's a lot of these weird older pops here. Like, why are they restocking? Like, that's a
I
kind of
agree.
a random one, which obviously will plummet value. It messes with all that kind of stuff. But this pop has kind of come down anyways over time in value. It's no
Yep. And
longer
then they
like one of
made
those.
another version.
Yeah, then they made the other version with more lightsabers and whatever. So it was like it kind of no longer was the only one in the Holy Grail type of thing. So still a sick pop. I think it's like awesome anyways, but it's weird that we're getting this like as restock and then it's sold out and everything. And I just like I'm like wondering like what like where did this come from? Like why are they doing that? And like what the hell is going on? And then the someone probably diss track or something posted that. So the ones that you were ordering, Funko Shop when they shipped out, they were coming with the Walgreens exclusive
Yes.
sticker, which is like the OG one. So it was just very interesting. I wonder if like the SKU card, SKU UPC code, like is the same or if it was like a new box. Like I don't know. So it's interesting because obviously we know Star Wars has also gone through the whole change of the boxes and that has
Yep.
happened, but this seems like it's just literally I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on it? Because I mean, we get some of these
Yeah.
OG random restocks sometimes of like certain pops that really have like no value because they're just so restocked old so many times. But of like the really old mold, if you know what I'm talking about, they do it with
Yep.
Marvel, they do it
Yeah.
with Star Wars, and it's just like this one just seemed a little weird.
Yeah. I mean, this should never be remade, in my opinion. It goes against what all of us collectors believe in and want. The only thing I was thinking a lot about it, part of me is like, and maybe this is a stretch, they found some inventory in a warehouse. They threw it up on Funko.com. It's a random one to remake, especially not being in
That's a
like,
big ass warehouse out there finding this. Like, where was this?
well, I don't disagree with you, but I'm happy you brought up the Batman animated series one too, because like that's also not a pop you can just regularly find anymore.
Mhm.
And I know that's not wasn't like a store exclusive, but it's random. Or maybe Walgreens had stock and they sent it back to Funko, like because
Yeah.
they're clearly not really in the like Funko game anymore. They're not getting exclusives. I'm pretty sure this was the first con ever, maybe, that they didn't have an exclusive.
Yeah, it's true. And they always like Star
They
Wars
always have
specifically. They always had like
Star
something from
Wars or
there.
Marvel, like they always have
Marvel.
something. Part of me
Hmm.
feels like that's who was supposed to have the Fairly Odd Parents one, and that got changed up. Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is weird, but it was one that obviously caused a little bit of drama and controversy because like you said, like hardcore collectors, we don't like yeah, if we miss something, we would love if there's a restock so we can try to get it back. But like having one restock randomly because like you had extra stuff is fine, but like when they're consistently just randomly restocking the same thing and like years later, like it's just a
Yeah.
little off. Like that's what's kind of weird. But I don't know what everybody else thinks about this, but
Yeah, let us know
definitely
what you
like let
think.
us know because it's interesting for sure. But yeah, but still cool to see that one again. But yeah, I do have that pop, but it's the damn special edition, which
Yeah,
is
it's funny. I
awful.
That was a pop I luckily got like when it first came out.
Hmm.
But yeah, because I know they did that with the Mace Windu one too. They
Yep.
remade it, and yeah, just they got to stop doing that. Funko, stop doing that. But I think they know now they're not to do that anymore.
Yeah, true. Things are changing.
I feel like that is a lot of like the news, but we got a ton
Yeah.
of rumors. If we want to like dive into those.
Yeah. The only other thing I did want to mention, just because it's today, the Power Rangers
Oh,
NFT
yeah.
Series 2. I mean, we talked about it, but yeah, it's coming out. If you're listening to this or watching this, whatever, it's coming out today, obviously the 22nd, Tuesday. So hopefully, if you're listening to this or watching this after the fact, let us know. Did you get lucky enough to grab some packs? I believe we're both going to try to go
Yeah,
out
I'm
to
going
some
for this.
packs. Definitely a pretty cool line for sure. And like I said, I know we mentioned it last time, but did want to just say because it's obviously now officially coming out, and hopefully we'll start getting more waves and stuff because it was a long time with no NFTs. So it's gonna be
So
interesting to see
long.
how
So
this
I'm
how this run goes.
definitely excited for this line, as we all said. And I think it's a good one to come out of the gate with for not having had him in a bit.
Yeah, especially that royalty. Definitely be pretty sweet.
That royalty's sick.
But yeah, let's get into some rumors. So we have some rumors and leaks, some stuff that has been leaking online, a few lines that kind of got us excited. And then there's also a list with some leaks from NYCC of what potentially will be coming out during that con. So we'll rip through those as well. And that'll probably end everything because, like I said, it was not a ton of stuff,
Yeah,
but
no, not a ton.
definitely excited for some of these rumors and leaks. But you could start us off maybe with like a line or something that you
Yeah,
got pretty. We'll end
one
it with the NYCC stuff, so we'll start off with some of the other lines.
one that like caught my eye immediately, and I don't know if it's a 2-pack or if it's just they're showing individually from the movie, but Deadpool 3, Deadpool and
Mm-hmm.
Wolverine. I mean, the hype around this movie, like I feel like this is gonna like save Marvel, if I'm being honest. And we're getting Hugh Jackman back in the OG yellow and blue like Wolverine suit. This
Yeah,
pop is gonna be sick, in
yeah,
my
it's gonna be
opinion.
cool to see him in that suit, but like a movie version where it's not like
Yeah.
super comic like version of it. I mean, I feel like obviously we'll get individual ones, but yeah, like
Hmm.
there should be a 2-pack because that'd be pretty awesome. I mean, we obviously saw like a still shot of them walking together, like that could totally be what they use as a 2-pack type of thing, or whether it's some fighting poses or whatever. But yeah, that's something that also kind of like caught my eye, like wow, that'd be super sick when that does come out. Hopefully, we can see some more about that. One line that I was very excited for. So this is a show that I was obsessed with when after the fact because it came out a few years ago and I just jumped on board like a few months back and I just ripped through this show. And it's Succession, which I was a huge fan of this show. I like I said, I was very, very into it, but it's super cool that we're gonna get some of these pops. Obviously, there's like the whole family essentially is gonna be coming out. They all pretty much have a specific look to them, so it should be very similar to some of these other like
Yeah.
show pops that we get, where like you really kind of have to know the show to really know that it's them. But if you're a fan of them, like it's definitely a cool line to have. I just thought there was one character. So there's a character, Tom Wamsgan. Obviously, if you know the show, you know. So, like, I'm not going to say any spoilers or anything, but I was surprised that he's not in this wave. Pretty big character, obvious reasons. But yeah, the ones that they did release obviously were pretty obvious. Most of them are the family. And maybe that's why, even though he's married to one of them, so he's, like a husband of someone.
Family.
But yeah, but definitely. I mean, I've been trying to get Charlie to get on. If you guys watch this, in the comments, you can let him know as well because
Oh
he
no,
needs
no.
to get
It's
he needs
on
to
the
start
list.
watching
Yeah, I know, I know, I
because
know.
it has become one of my favorite shows of all time. Like honestly, it was that good.
I feel like if it wasn't like the true commitment of a HBO drama,
Oh
that's
yeah,
my issue with
yeah.
not
Which is
already
it
of
comes
seeing
out
it all.
some Max. Obviously, you guys don't know which is from HBO, and it's like it's a solid hour
Yeah.
every episode. It's not like you can't fly through it. I mean, unless you sit there and binge it like I did. But
But since there's going to be no new TV for a while because of the strikes, which are
yeah,
terrible, but I'll be probably watching Succession
yeah.
finally.
Mm-hmm.
Another one rumor line, which I love, my Disney is like a Donald Duck line, and we always joke that like we've gotten the sodas and different versions, never like the OG Donald, and like we're getting pops of him in all different versions of himself, and excuse me, and an original like just first creation of Donald, which they did come out with the Disney 100 one, like a black and white one. I'm wondering if this will be color, but Angry Donald, Dapper Donald, Donald Hard Eyes. Um, I think it's gonna be cool. Maybe it's a little overkill, but I love Donald, and I think it'll be a cool line.
Yeah, if they all come out like as a wave, whatever, it would be like, wow, this is interesting because they never used to do this. We just get a random one here and
Yeah,
there. But I guess doing it that way is kind of makes more sense. Like here's all the Donalds. You pick and choose which ones you want, and it's like you get a little bit of everything. It takes the different like types of versions of him or time periods of
yeah.
when they made Donald. Um, Speaking of some older stuff, well, older movie, older line that already exists, and now we're gonna revisit it again, and it's The Wizard of Oz. So the Wizard of Oz, the OG pops, I'm talking OG in the sense of like this is when the molds were very basic,
Yes.
where like these are mega grails. Um, to me, this line reminds me a lot of like the OG Michael Jackson line, where it's like stuff that's very hard to get. And if you're gonna pay a pretty penny to get most of these,
Yep.
if you want to collect the entire line, because it's also not there's not many of them. I feel like it's not like people are selling these a lot. Like they're usually holding on to them because they're pretty hardcore fans when it comes to this movie, and in very similar fashion to Michael Jackson as well. Not to make another connection to it, we're getting new wave. Well,
Yeah.
rumored to get another wave of them, which that happened with Michael Jackson. Now we're getting more versions of his pops, which I got one right back here. But pretty excited to see what these look like because I love Wizard of Oz. It's obviously a really big classic, but to me, it's cool that we're going to get more new molds of these. So it's going to be interesting to see what they look like. Obviously, they're going to have probably more detail, but we'll see. What this does to the old ones, the value of those, and see what these pops look like.
It's funny. One real quick. I wish I could show it right now, but I don't have it on me. But maybe we'll pop up an image. I got my Smooth Criminal Michael Jackson pop sent to me from Amazon in a just a plastic bag, completely crushed, as if like a little kid jumped all over it. It's a joke. So I'm
It
not too
wasn't
happy
even in
about
a
that.
sorter or box in the
Nothing
bag
in like
because
those
I've got a
really.
pop in a box in a bag. I've had that, which is weird, but at least it
Yeah,
wasn't damaged.
I just got that actually from Box Lunch. Those were damaged as well, but not like this Michael Jackson one. I mean, it's legitimately, I mean, it was in like one of those thin little like reusable bags and it was so trashed. Like,
It's
I'm gonna
crazy.
get a new one, but it's just annoying.
Yeah.
But I just to give my 2 cents on the Wizard of Oz too, I feel like though these are gonna have the WB 100 box, which is not gonna make them as desirable.
Yeah, it's so true that you said that. It makes sense. See, then
It,
it makes also more sense why these are even coming out,
yep.
if that's what they're
So
gonna do.
I feel like the OG ones, even though they still would have been the grails, like they really
Yeah, of
will be
course.
because these are going to be in that heinous looking box.
Yeah, not a fan of it either.
Another rumored line, which I'm super excited for this movie. Actually, the trailer I think comes out today. It's Rebel Moon. Are you familiar? Have you heard about this?
No.
So it's Zack Snyder's new movie. It's going to be on Netflix. It's an entire new universe that he's created. Fun fact, he actually pitched this script to Lucasfilm at one point to be a Star Wars movie.
Hmm.
They told him no. Obviously, Zack Snyder's style doesn't really fit Lucasfilm, but you can already see, like, I've been following this movie heavily. Actually stars Charlie Hunnam, who I love. And I, I think this is going to be huge for Netflix. I think this is going to be a, a new original IP that we like don't get anymore. And I'm really pumped that they gave him like all the money to do what he wants. There's even going to be like a theatrical version and then like an uncut long ass version, kind of like you did with Justice League, but they're going to like post both of them and it's going to be, I mean, pretty mature. So it'll be like a hard R.
Hmm.
Um, and they're coming out with pops for it, which just shows Netflix is like, we are believe in this. And
Wow.
it looks like it's the four main characters. Super pumped for this.
Yeah. I have to take a look at that. Yeah, I haven't really heard much about it or anything, but that seems pretty sweet to have something original and new, and that's not,
Yeah.
something that's just adapted like nonstop that we're getting. Um, but that seems pretty cool. We're getting more biddies. So we have a few new. So this was one of those ways that we kind of said we'll stick around. We thought this line would still,
Yeah.
exist, and it seems like it probably will. And it is still pretty popular. So the three big lines that were rumored that are going to be coming out on this list was Lord of the Rings, which would be pretty sweet. There's enough
Yeah.
characters. That one seems pretty awesome. Five Nights at Freddy, which kind of makes obvious sense because they do love milking this and they put them in every type of product line that they have. They'll come out with them. And then Parks and Rec, which is another one that they kind of have tons of pops and they've gone over to sodas recently. So now we'll probably get more of those. And obviously there's a bunch of those characters as well. So to get those in a biddy wave, makes sense. But that just kind of shows you now, like, this is really going to span out to like a bunch of different,
Yeah.
movies and shows and stuff. So more biddies on the way.
It's funny. I mean, I'm a fan of this line. I've said it before, and it is interesting how huge it's going to become. The one thing I'm like super curious to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, like where Funko continues to take this, because like a movie's actually coming out this
Mm-hmm.
fall, and it just will be interesting to me because I don't think the movie, like this, kids play this game, but I'm not going to sit here and necessarily say it is for kids, but like they just play it anyway. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the
The
movie's
movie
going to be,
doesn't seem like it's for
no,
kids.
it's going to be like a horror movie. So it'll be interesting if that opens up the line to like horror fans. Like for all you
Yeah.
know, you may become a fan of it. Like it's just,
Yeah.
it's interesting to me. And I'm curious what will happen with that line in general.
Yeah. It will be interesting to see like what the movie does to that, like how it affects it. Um, Doing that. But did you have another line, or do you want to go
I,
into the
I did have one
New
more,
Comic
which
Con?
is just
Yeah.
interesting. Like two of the best characters from the Hawkeye show. We still don't have pops of them, but like they're rumored to be coming out with an Echo and a Kingpin one. Like people forget, like, how did we not get an MCU Kingpin Funko Pop yet? And like they've waited this long for it. This is
Yeah.
like one thing, like Funko's got to stop doing this. Like Hawkeye doesn't, I'm cool with it when you do it with like legendary classic type stuff, but 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, like it shouldn't be like, oh, we're finally getting the Hawkeye Kingpin Funko Pop. I think
Hmm.
it makes them shelf warmers. Like people may not want this as much as they would have when it first came out. Like for me, if this came out with all the other ones, it would have been like immediate buy. Now I'm like, I probably don't need it.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I think it happens a lot with the like when they come out with things, and it's like perfect timing was when, back in the day when a character would show up in a movie and then everyone would go after all the old pops and stuff, was obviously when like Daredevil,
Yep.
Daredevil's gonna come out and everyone went after Daredevil stuff and whatever. And it's like Kingpin should have been coming out even around that time or whatever. But it's interesting that now we're gonna get it, but I don't know, we'll see. And then obviously we're still getting the Echo show whenever the hell that comes out, the Daredevil show as
Yeah.
well. So I'm sure there'll be waves and opportunities to get his character back in there as well. But this does just seem kind of random, unless
It's
it's
random.
tied to that somehow. Maybe that's
It
what
could
this like
be,
initial leak is. But
which
I
supposedly the
guess we'll
Echo show
see.
is terrible.
Yeah,
It's
which
actually
we
going to
all
be the
kind of
first
figured.
ever Disney Plus show that's Marvel that's dropped all at once. It
Oh
will
yeah,
not
it
be a
is.
weekly release.
Oh,
And it's good for them to say that's a test, but it's probably because they're like, this show's not that good.
yeah, which we kind of felt like, and obviously Daredevil's supposed to be in it, so I'm sure you'll be the
Yeah.
part that you'll enjoy, and then kind of keep it moving, just timeline purposes, I guess. All right, so we do have a little bit of a list here. These are some rumors and leaks that are going to be coming for the New York Comic Con 2023 stuff. Obviously, when we get more
Yeah.
news on that, we'll definitely be talking about that for sure. But we'll just rip through these. So it's like 12, 15 or so of them, whatever.
Yep.
So we got a Cyndi Lauper, Lady Liberty. Not sure exactly like what that'll be looking like. Is that an album? Is that a song? Like a
You know
Because
what?
I don't know
This
if
is
it's like
maybe
a
this is embarrassing to say, but I'm not like a huge fan. I'm
yeah. I
assuming and
mean,
it's kind of like Lady Liberty for New York Comic Con.
yeah,
Like I
yeah, of
get why they're
course.
doing it.
I get the tie. Then we're getting Superman in the classics Vault line, which of course is that like
Yep.
10 vaulted classics pops. Dungeons and Dragons, there's gonna be a 6-inch behemoth. We got a Galaxy Quest, Dr. Lazarus, Horizon Zero Dawn, which I think is a game, I believe, right? Alloy,
Yep.
a
It's a
bunch of
game.
random stuff here, but Indiana Jones. So we got Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indy with Torch. So it's gonna be one of him. We got some Pixar stuff. This one is where it's like, okay, this is pretty sick. So we're getting a
This is
Bow
amazing.
Soda with the chase. It is LE 14,000, so decent number. But obviously, like that's a super sick like Pixar, I guess it's a short
It's a
technically,
short.
right? Because it's
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So my daughter loves that one. Like she loves a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
those
good.
different ones, and that one's like a really, really cool one. It's a great, it's one of those ones that's like heartwarming stories that Pixar does, and you're like, how the hell did they do this in a few minutes?
Yeah.
But it's like they get it done. So that one would probably look pretty cool. We obviously have, I think we have a, do we have a pop of that? Do we
We
have
don't have a
some,
pop. There was a
was it a
point where they
Dorb or
were
something or something?
it was a line. It's funny. I actually collected them and I have it, and I don't even really know what it was, but they were coming out with tiny vinyl figures at one point
Yeah.
that were like in these elaborate boxes, like Presto, which was a magic short with a rabbit. It was in a hat.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bow one was in like the thing they make the dumplings in.
Yeah.
Like I don't even really know what that line
But it
was.
was made by Funko?
It was made by Funko.
Oh, that's
And I
interesting.
do believe it has a mystery mini that now came out about a year ago. They did like a Pixar shorts line,
Mhm.
but it doesn't have a Funko Pop or anything. So the soda will be like its first mainstream product line,
So that would be
which is
pretty,
cool.
pretty cool. We got a Pokemon pop. So Dialga 10-inch. I don't really know that Pokemon
Yeah,
up top of my head, so don't know. Power Rangers soda. Here we go. Lord Zed soda with
let's go.
Chase, which we also obviously have seen a picture that we're getting Power Rangers soda cooler.
Cooler.
Uh, so this is interesting that this is just another soda, which I'm assuming wouldn't be a part of that cooler because it wouldn't be in as a con. So, um, but that opens up the line that we're going to get probably a bunch of Power
Dude,
Rangers,
they are
different
like,
characters.
I feel like about a year ago on the podcast, I was begging for Power Ranger stuff. Now they're like going insane as they always do. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I
Literally,
guess like
they're
beggars
in
can't be
all
choosers.
different, yeah, in all different platform ways that they can come out with products. They're coming out with Power Ranger stuff now. We got a Marvel Comics Wolverine the variant. So that seems like it's probably like maybe the OG style
Yeah.
one comic that we're gonna get. You know, with cons we kind of get those. The Marvels, we're gonna get a Captain Marvel. We usually get like a lot of these generic DC and Marvel like
Yeah. We don't need.
cons.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing that we like love. We're gonna get another McDonald's nugget with pale. That's like meh.
It's
But
funny
how
though.
about
Do you
that?
think that means though, like that's a Halloween Funko Pop, like that they have the Halloween pails coming out like in October? You know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
it
Like
could
those
be.
iconic,
Could be.
like
Well,
because
they
they're
have,
making
I feel
lounge
like they
flies
make
of them.
nugget like Halloween style
They
ones, don't
have,
they?
they have
Yeah, okay.
before. Yeah.
So it could be. Um, then we're gonna get, we have rumored this for so long and I've asked for it since the day that sodas came out. A ghost face soda with a chase. And I cannot
Finally.
wait to see what that looks like. Cannot wait to see what the chase is gonna be because that would be amazing. It's perfect New York Comic Con uh type of soda. Like doesn't have to show the piece count here, which is interesting. But that is something I have been asking for. I've been asking for more horror sodas, which I think are some of the better sodas that they make, but we don't have like the like the classic people. We don't have Michael Myers, we don't have Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger, we don't have Jason, and we don't have Ghostface. But now we're finally gonna get Ghostface, and hopefully we can get the rest of them
If
because
you were to
I
guess, what do you think the chase will be? Will it just be like a variant, like a glow or
yeah, I think it's gonna be like a glow or a metallic,
yeah.
something like that. I don't see them really changing, or hopefully it's not just like a knife move or something different, you know, like that.
Yeah.
Maybe bloody. Bloody would be
Bloody would
good.
be cool. That's what I would
Bloody's good
want it to
with
be.
the horrors, and they've done that, so they obviously could just do it. It's pretty simple for them, but it's cool enough. So I would think, yeah, maybe Bloody. That'd be good. And then we got two more Star Wars stuff that was
Yeah.
leaked. So in Ahsoka, which obviously probably tailored more towards the show and stuff. So probably get something cool and
100%.
exclusive, something with the movement or something. And then another 3 liter, and this is Chewbacca soda, which that fits
It's gonna be sick.
obviously, and
And we don't have one yet, Chewbacca soda.
at all.
No,
Yeah, that's true. That's one of the
which
big
makes
characters
it
that we don't
legit.
have yet, which would be even better and would make it even more legit. Oh wait, it says it. Flock chase. I was just gonna say there's no way they're gonna do a flock chase. That's a huge figure to make flocked because I don't think they have one yet, right? They're all
Nope.
pretty much just pretty basic.
Yep.
That's gonna be fire.
I know.
That's pretty sick. I'm
And
sure you'll go
I've
crazy for it.
never pulled a 3 liter chase.
No, I mean I've only owned one.
I
It's
have a
the Hulk one.
couple and I only ever get one, but like that's like the chase to get, in my opinion. That'll
Hmm.
be sick.
That's gonna be amazing. Uh, but that'll be it. That'll
Yeah.
wrap up the episode. Again, some good news. Let us know what you guys think. What are you excited for and some of the stuff that we talked about? What do you guys think about these leaks? Obviously, there's going to be more. It seems like now we're getting the leak train going out there again. So hopefully, we can start getting more of those. We love talking about that stuff because we like talking about it because it excites us. But then it's also awesome when we see it finally come to true life, and actually happen when we actually see the stuff. But yeah, please make sure to comment down below because that's like we want to make sure that you guys are interacting with us. We love talking back to you guys as well. If you guys didn't notice, we are going through
Yeah.
a couple little bit of a logo change and a little bit of a rebrand. So in the intro and everything, you hopefully saw it, and on our socials, you'll see some of our stuff. We'll start putting up our new logos. We kind of are featuring football teams now. We're transitioning over away from our awfully terrible New York baseball teams to now our new, maybe hopefully not as terrible football teams, but we're excited for it for sure. But Charlie will let you know all the good stuff on how to follow us and everything, and definitely make sure you guys are showing us the support because we are super close to 500. Can we get to 500 subscribers, please?
Please. We
10,
need
10
10.
more, 10 right now. We've
10.
been
My
sitting
lucky
at this
number.
damn number.
Give
We're
me
like
the
stuck right now.
we need
Get
it.
us there. Get us
Because
there.
I feel like once you get over 500, YouTube's a little nicer to you. Maybe I'm just
Yeah.
making that up, but I just feel like
Yeah.
they are. So
We're
help
like
us
the
get there.
stepchildren right now on YouTube.
I know
It's
it's
terrible.
ridiculous. At least I do love when people are always like, "How do you only have X amount of
Yeah.
subscribers? You should have so many." Like that does make us feel good, but like let's actually get some more subscribers. So once again, if you haven't already, if you made it this long in our video and you haven't already been a fan, please subscribe to our channel. Please, please, please. Also, like this video and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos are coming out, especially this week because we're hoping to have some NFT videos and we've been dropping some shorts on this channel. And then also in the comments, like Migs already said, you obviously can see our new look. Let us know what you think of it. Hopefully you like it. Um, and if you're listening on the podcast platforms, you'll see that new logo there as well. But also on Spotify, that's the platform we can really interact with our fans if you're not coming over to YouTube. But listen to both. Just come over to YouTube and give us that sub again. And then just go back to the podcast if that's where you want to listen.
Mhm.
And like I always say, we have polls there. We have questions per episode. And also follow us on the podcast platforms. It's not just Spotify, but Apple, Google. You guys know the drill. But just please, that helps us over there as well. And then follow us over at social media at Collector Chatter, and then at Pub_Migs, and then at Collector_Charlie. And once again, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Let us know what you think in the comments. And until the next video, later. And collecting is the way.
Bye, everybody.